Hey guys, Robert and Ingrid here, and a little bit after the fact, but we're meeting up to talk about Predator Badlands.
And it was good.
Okay, now here's the big question. Last time we talked about the regular Predator movies, not AVP. We said Prey was our new number one favorite. Does this trump Prey?
I don't think so, but it's not
close.
because it's bad. It is
close.
really well made, though. The worst we could really say about it is that it was a little predictable in places, but honestly, it was super, super solid and felt like it expanded the world in a way that made a lot of sense.
Yep, and my friend Raymond put it best. And now you have not read much of the Dark Horse comics, neither have I, but he has, and he said this was a perfect adaptation of a Dark Horse Predator comic, where we focus on the Predator.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and first of all, that's the big thing we got to bring up. We focus on the Predator. There's no humans. In fact, this is PG-13, but only because there are no humans.
Yeah, it's like there is still plenty of violence, but that violence gets committed against monsters and against synths. So it's not. Basically, it gets by entirely on a technicality.
Definitely. Otherwise, this would have been an R. This would have definitely been an R if there was any humans involved.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we focus on a Yaujta named Deck, who is the scrawny, the runt of the clan. And basically, his own brother sacrificed his life because he was sent by their father, the elder and head of their clan, to execute the runt. But the brother loved him.
Yeah.
Which, big no-no. Big no-no. You should, when it comes to the Yaujta, their code of honor, if they are useless, if they are runt, they deserve to die. No exceptions. If you show weakness, you're dead. And that's what Kui, that's the brother, he sacrificed his life to send Deck, even though he knew he was sending Deck to the last program coordinates, which was to the Death Planet. It had the one being that none of the Yaujta have been able to capture or kill. We later find out for good reason, but if it will get them away from their father, he sends them there. Basically, as Deck even says, even if I die, it would be more honorable than dying a coward.
Yep.
And yeah, he goes to this planet, and it's an incredible world, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, they definitely filled out the environment to make a lot of sense. Like, you really got the sense that the evolutionary arms race just went absolutely nuclear early on in its development.
Definitely. But yeah, and while he crash lands on there, and he already starting to get his butt whooped around. Now, to be fair, him being the runt, it explains a lot more why it's so hard for him. Because
it makes it a lot more interesting to watch overall, because he really doesn't know what he's doing a lot of the time, and that makes a lot of sense.
Or he does know what he's doing, but he's tossed around still.
Either way, it definitely makes for a lot of tension.
Now, we gotta get one elephant in the room if we follow all of these. Wayland Yutani is back. But this is set first in the timeline, which means it is set after Resurrection. Why does that raise questions? Because what happened to Wayland Yutani? Bought out by Walmart. Now, one can assume someone rebought it out or whatever and started up again. Very easy, but if you follow any of it, it's still like, wait a second. So either they're ignoring Resurrection, strong possibility, but doubtful, or they just simply said they came back stronger than ever. But we're introduced to Sia, played by Ella Fanning.
Yeah, I feel like the way they used Wayland Yutani in here is strong enough that I'm willing to overlook that little continuity error.
Well, it was a bad continuity idea anyway.
Yeah, so it's technically screws with the continuity a bit, but it's not a part of the continuity that was particularly strong, so we'll let it slide.
But Thea, the breakout character of your
elephant. Yes, amazing. I love how just upbeat and optimistic she was, and it makes it clear eventually with the events that unfold that she's essentially the defective one, much like he is, just for Wayland Yutani, and I really like all of those parallels.
Definitely. And what I really love best throughout this, like, first of all, when we're introduced her and she wants to get her legs. She wants her legs back. And I just love it first, like, good luck on your journey as she's trying to slowly hobble away.
Yes, I love funny in a really earnest way.
I know, again, that's why she said, like, good luck on your journey. She just says in this way, but she basically says, I know where what you're looking for is. I know where it is. I know where the Kalisk is. I do like that they use a name that's easy to pronounce.
Yeah, easy to pronounce and it sticks in your head really easily. Yep. And it shows the Predators going after, like, different things.
Yep.
Which is like maybe one side of the Predators is really after the Xenomorphs, but they would naturally go after different things in different parts of the cosmos.
He's already done the Xenomorph.
For
this would have been his first solo hunt.
After
the Predator. If we go by AVP, which is faithful to that portion, they would go in a group and then be blooded. Because, they take the blood from it and then mark it.
I forgot about that part, so thank you for clarifying.
No worries, but this would have been his first solo kill. And he wanted to be somebody that would prove I am worthy despite my shortcomings.
So he very much was in a go big or go home kind of place to begin with.
What did he have to lose? But yeah,
he's already gonna die anyway.
Yep, we found out Thea and her sister Tessa were both sent by Wayland Yutani to find the Kalisk. Why? Well, we find out a little bit later why. But yeah, so she is promising to help Deck. They also meet a little creature named Bud.
Who manages to avoid the pitfalls of, like, your little mascot creature.
No, yeah, I mean, they drop him pretty early, and then he only comes back later. But and I do love it how he spit on you. And at first, I love how Deck's like, he's ready to pound the little creature, but like, no, that means he marked you. He considers you part of his clan. And again, throughout all this, I loved all the questions that Thea was constantly just asking, like, what do you actually eat with? Which mandible, the teeth or the
It's like
we never get an answer.
The best parts of being a nerd, it's like, oh my god, I'm finally meeting you in person. Tell me everything, and he's just like, huh?
I know, he just ignores her. Which I gotta say, he has a lot of patience. I would have dropped her. I would have dropped her. Would you have? I mean, given how we have to assume that was probably hours of walking, listening to those questions.
Yeah, but Jack is at least smart enough to realize that I don't actually know a whole ton.
True.
So this is worth putting up with, so I have some chance at survival.
That's true. But I will also say, though, I do like how normally you cannot take, you have to be solo on this. But she's a synth. She's a tool. He's using her as a tool. I like that. I like that a lot, because that is a good technicality.
That is, in fact, a very good technicality.
Yeah, it's like, he's a tool, and she's a tool. He's not, but that's why later on, again, we'll get to it. But, yeah, they go their way through, and I gotta say, the glass or the razor grass, kind of an obvious thing on a world like this, but it still worked. Yeah,
it's like,
that's a standard. That's a standard thing for a world like this, but it still was gorgeous. Yep, and I loved him taking on the big creature.
Yeah.
That was awesome. But yeah, so eventually they make their way to the Calisk. At the same time, we find out. Now, I do also we find out Tessa, after being destroyed, turns out what Sia would have no idea about, one or two of the surviving synths dragged her all the way back. And at that moment that Deck had showed up, she got reactivated. And basically, now we find out. Now, here's the one that I got to wonder. So we know that Tessa was looking for Sia, trying to protect her. Do you think that was a case of she had a reason? Was she feeling emotion? And then later on, she's more like, I can't do this again because I'm on thin ice as it is? Or was there more of like a flaw in her programming that she's like, nope, that was nothing?
Good question. I think they leave it very much up to viewer interpretation.
And it won't matter by the end anyway. But yeah, so they find, so at that point she's fine, and she finds Deck's sound chip and gathers his plasma blaster. We had set up earlier a toy. We'll get to that. And these ice grenades, which I really liked. And they come real useful. They are really useful for Tessa. That was like, oh crap. But yeah, so they find the Calisk, and what do we find out about the Calisk? Why is it so impossible to tell?
Infinitely regenerating, which means it doesn't really matter how much damage you do to it, it'll come back. And Wayland Yutani is interested in it because it would be a good place to make some regenerative drugs of some kind.
Definitely. And which typical Wayland Yutani and everything, but yeah, and I love the look on Deck when he's realizing, the head is regrowing, reconnecting. He's just like, oh crap. Oh, yeah. We also did where we see her reveals, oh, I lied. I sent a distress signal. Just go, run. You cannot beat it. And he's like, you are a tool. I use you. You do not use me. And she's reconnecting her legs, and I love it. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I was feeling that too. It's just like
I just wanted to be like, oh, come on. Turns out though, that's a plot point too.
Yep.
I love it how it's like a little comedic beat you don't think about, and later on you're like, oh.
Because she then uses her legs to act independently to set up a plan.
Yep, but now I don't know if that was intentional on her part, but still. But yeah.
It could just as easily be her. It's like, well, this sucks, but I can get some use out of it.
Yeah, but anyway, so they're apprehended. Obviously, Tessa wants to salvage her, the mission as best she can. So you're running the test on Deck. Of course, Sia does not want that. Now, that leads to this great bit where only Sia knows how to communicate. So she then talks to one of the other Synso drones. He tells her, tell them it's a weapon, even though it's a toy. And I love it later. It's like, that was a children's toy? A Yaujta child! Because it blew up someone's head, which we found out earlier. Kuwait said, you saved me from this. Which, to be fair, that makes sense. Even for a Yaujta, toy would be lethal and a learning thing. Because you want to weed out the weak.
Yep.
I love that. But yeah, so Deck is able to get out of there, meets up with Bud, realizes that Bud is the Calisk's child. Which that I love because I
thought was a really neat twist.
Because there's that moment where the Calisk pauses, like, and Deck realizes, like, young Yaujta and Calisk. But then, what do we get? He pulls an Arnold, Dallas. He gathers up everything he can to replicate all of his weapons. He uses the razor grant. He uses these creatures that shoot out acid, makes it as a pet. He gathered up these explosives and these explosive plants that can actually stun you. That's how he met Sia, was with that. He took also these hard bones from the creature he downed earlier and made armor out of it.
Yeah!
I just wish we had a roar, getting ready just like how Arnold did. That's the only thing I wished. Oh, Dutch. He pulled a Dutch. I mean, not a Dallas, a Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think about that? Him pulling a Dutch.
That was really epic. I feel like that's sort of coming from the perspective of somebody who was the runt of the litter, somebody who couldn't just brute force everything and had to get creative with solutions to survive. I feel like in another situation, the quote-unquote strong members of his tribe wouldn't necessarily have been in the same position to do that.
No, they would have powered through it. He, on the other hand, both due to circumstances and his weakness, where he had to.
Mm-hmm.
But then he releases her legs, so the legs would lead him to the base. Which that was like, oh!
Yeah, that was super clever.
Yeah, like he realized, of course this could lead me there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he and Bud start taking out a lot of the synths, and I love that little his organic plasma bolt, at the acid shooter. I love that thing.
Oh.
That's what happens later. We'll get to that in a moment. I was like, oh no! But yeah, so they kick a whole bunch of butt, and even Thea with her legs is able to kick butt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and eventually they're able to bust their way out. Oh yeah, I gotta say, I'm glad Mother was brought back.
Yeah.
The AI, I'm like, duh! We haven't heard Mother since the original.
But it would make sense that she would still be there in some form.
And being voiced for once, because it's a more advanced tech. But yeah, so they fight them all out, but then Tessa decides, fine. They even release Callus, but Tessa's like, I'm gonna fight you. Obliterates and uses the plasma blast, the actual plasma gun on the acid spitter. It jumps off and sacrifices itself. I was like, no!
Yeah, I was like, no!
You only do it for a few minutes, but you already loved it, the little thing. That's good storytelling. You make the thing just for a few moments, but you already love it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then leads to a big fight, and I love the how does it feel to be hunted? You tell me!
Yes, that was very good.
Yeah, it's again, well, yeah, she uses a huge power walker. I'm just like, get away from her, you bitch.
Yep.
A power loader, but a bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Callus eats it, has a nice moment between them all, but then Tessa uses the ice grenade to blow up Callus, because that would kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Blowing him up while it's frozen, no regeneration is going to come back from that.
Yep.
Which then means, of course, because she beat Callus, that makes her the bigger prey.
Yeah.
So they end up working together and taking her out. Now, granted, she was weakened by that point, but yeah, they take Tessa out. And they took out all the other synths. So I did like the bit with Tia trying to pose as Tessa to one of the synths.
Oh yeah.
That was funny when it's just like, you told me to wait here. Then why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so they make their way back. Now, remember, all of this, he wants his cloaks. That's what he would earn for his first kill. So he confronts his father, tosses, Tessa's head. His father still will not acknowledge him.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, he should have. That just tells you how his father doesn't care about the rituals. It's his pride. So, big fight. And of course, Deck wins.
Mm-hmm.
But I love his father uses the cloak. So what does Deck do? He turns on the engine, sending dust everywhere so he can see his father.
Yeah.
And then he puts his father in the same trap that his brother was put in, and he lets Bud eat the guy's head off.
Yep.
And then finally, up until this point, Theo keeps on saying, Deck of the Yaujta, not yet. Deck of the Yaujta, not yet. And then it's Deck of, join our clan. I already have a clan. deck of the Yaujta. Then a ship is coming in, and it's like, what is it? My mother! Trust me.
Dovetailing off of that, there was like a conversation that happened earlier in the movie where like Deck was like, we should be able to survive on our own. And Thea's like, yeah, I could, but who wants to survive alone? And I thought that was just a great 1-2 punch where it's just like, what's the point of surviving alone? It's just like, you can, but why? And I think that was a really good point.
Yep, and what makes this work with Deck is that because he's a runt, he isn't your traditional Yaujta.
And he eventually decides that, fuck, that system doesn't work for me. I'm just going to go and do my own thing with the people who actually care about me.
Exactly. So, yeah. But yeah, his mother is showing up. Uh-oh. And that's where the cliffhanger is. Much like Prey, we end on a cliffhanger.
I can't really fault him for that, though.
Me neither.
It's like, because I already have seen that these guys can write, so it's just like, okay, I'll wait for what comes next.
I gotta say, so technically this is the end of the trilogy that Dan Turnberg has been doing so far. He's obviously gonna be doing more. But yeah, we have Prey, Killer of Killers, and then this one. He has done so much to help revitalize the Predators franchise, hasn't he?
Yeah, so much. It's doing a lot of interesting things with it, but it also feels very much like their Predator movies. It's
different.
Yeah, it's like clearly understands the spirit, but is taking it in interesting and different directions that really fills out the world instead of just kind of doing the same Predator hunts humans movie like 300 times in a row.
Definitely. And what I really like about this is when you look at first one, let's do the Predator, but set it in the past. Killer of Killers. Let's show different eras of the Yaujta hunting down people. And then this one, let's reverse the tables and remind us why the Yaujta are badasses. And I love that.
Yeah, it's like it all makes sense within the context that's been set up before. It's just we've not seen this particular thing on screen yet.
Definitely. And again, I'm now curious on what's going to happen next.
Like, they can go a lot of different directions with this, and I'm excited to see what.
Now, what did you think about them having this set so far in the future that it is the furthest in the timeline?
I mean, it's a little weird out of context, but it's hard to argue with the results.
Definitely. And like I said, that means you don't have anything to combat it. It allowed them to have an excuse to bring Wayland Yutani back. And yeah, now overall was like I said, I like the fact we humanized the Yaujta, but I will say this though, I don't want this to be a norm. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, but it's like, give them a bit more depth, certainly, but we know that the role that they're generally expected to play.
Exactly. Again, it worked here because they made Deck a unique one where you can accept it and make him a unique among his clan and among his race. But at the same time, you don't want, again, that's the key, the being trepidatious. You have to be careful. Because otherwise you make them all like this, we end up going in the similar but opposite direction that the Predator went. Where you're radically changing the lore. It's like, the thing is, even though he's our protagonist, he's an anomaly. We got to remember about that. His father was mostly a traditional Yaujta. Now again, his son proved himself. A normal Yaujta, warlord should have, clan leader, should have let him, brought in. But of course, it probably got the better of him. But up until that point, everything was played straight. We got to remember that. So technically, what Deck is doing, he's a heretic. He's not a bad blood per se, but he could be declared a bad blood. Bad blood's kind of like the Predator from Predator 2. Going out of his way and killing innocents that shouldn't be hunted. Like what he did on the subway train. That's considered bad blood. Because you killed innocents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like the Yaujta, the super predators from Predators. Not the one that was hung up on the other one. Those were bad bloods because they weren't doing things like you're supposed to do. So by technicality, Deck would be considered by his own people a bad blood, even though he's honoring the clans. But because of what he is, he would be considered a heretic. So he's like something we are rooting for, but we don't want him to become the norm for the people. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand what you're talking about.
It's like what happened in Warcraft when they showed the orcs first as these bloodthirsty beings, and then they later reveal, oh no, they were always shamanistic. It was the demons that did it. And then it's like, a lot of people did not like that, where you're like, so they were never these bloodthirsty monsters? Really? It'll be like that. If we go there, that's what I'm saying, being careful. Any other thoughts you want to give on this movie?
I mean, it's really good. I would give it about an 8.5.
Yeah, I'll say now, of Dan's trilogy so far, I'd rank Prey, Badlands, Killer of Killers.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But they're close. They are
all really like neck and neck.
Now, how do these compare to the originals? I'd say Badland is, okay, Prey is number 1, then the original, then 2, then Badlands, Killer of Killers, Predators, The Predator.
So it's like, on the whole, it's trending ahead of the pack, honestly.
Most of them are. I say put Prey above the original 2, but then you have the original 2 afterward, then these 2. But yeah, again, just such a good movie. I cannot say I want to. I want to say I want to see more, but I don't know where they're going, or if he's just going to tell a new story or not.
Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Because let's be honest, Prey left us wanting more, and we only got a tease of a continuation in Killer of Killers.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is all eventually leading to something.
I hope so too, because originally, this movie was supposed to be set in World War I or II, one of them, the two, but then it changed completely. Yep. So yeah, thank you for joining me on this one, Ingrid. Thank you, everyone else. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
See ya.